All
Something
right,
to
so are you
explore.
ready to level up your language learning? Because today we're diving into the world of games and how they can help you learn English.
That's right.
We're going to be checking out a podcast episode that took a deep dive into a book called 100 Games for Teaching English.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so get ready to ditch those boring old textbooks and unlock the power of play.
I think a lot of people think about learning a new language and they immediately picture like, piles of flashcards and grammar rules.
Oh, totally.
But it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, no, it really
What
doesn't.
if we could actually like enjoy the process? I think that's where games come in.
Okay, so I am intrigued, but I've got to admit I'm a little skeptical too.
Okay.
Can you really learn as effectively by playing games as you can with those traditional methods?
Right.
I mean, is there not a risk that it could just turn into, a distraction instead of actual learning?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But, research has actually shown that games can be a really effective way to learn. Yeah, like there was this study published in the Journal of Educational Psychology, and it found that students who learn vocabulary through games, they actually remembered the information way better than those who learned through traditional methods.
Wow. Okay, so there's actually a scientific basis for this.
Yeah, the key is how games engage our brains.
So tell me more about that. Like, what's the science behind it?
Well, when we play games, it kind of taps into our natural desire for like challenges and rewards and social interaction.
Okay. Yeah.
And when we're engaged in a game, we're actively participating, we're motivated to succeed, and so we're more likely to remember the things that we've learned along the way.
So it's not just about having fun.
Right.
There's actually like real learning happening.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So what kinds of games are we talking about here?
Well, the book we're looking at today, it categorizes the games based on the skills they target.
Okay.
So you've got reading, listening, speaking, writing, and vocabulary. And each category has a ton of creative and engaging games.
All right, well, let's dive into some specifics.
Okay, sure.
Can you give me an example of a game that would help someone with reading comprehension?
Yeah, so one that comes to mind is Story Scramble.
Okay, Story Scramble.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle where you get a short story that's been cut up into paragraphs and they're all mixed up.
Okay.
And your job is to put the story back in order.
Okay. I mean, this sounds kind of fun, like a little brain teaser,
Yeah.
but how does that actually help with reading comprehension?
So it's more than just, like a fun puzzle. You have to really pay attention to the flow of the story and the connections between the ideas and all the little clues that authors use to guide the reader.
So it's making you think about the structure of the text
Exactly.
and how each part sits into the whole. I can see how that's a lot more engaging than just, passively reading.
Right. It turns reading comprehension into an active process like problem solving.
Got it.
And that's what makes games so great for learning. They take something that might be passive and kind of boring and they turn it into a challenge.
Okay, I like it. What about a game that focuses on listening skills?
So there's the classic whisper chain, which is basically like a more elaborate version of telephone.
Oh, yay.
One person whispers a sentence to the next, and then it goes around the room like that until the last person has to say it out loud.
I can only imagine how much that sentence would change along the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's always hilarious.
But there's more to it than just laughs, right?
Great. Well,
Yeah.
think about the skills that are needed for this to work.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to listen carefully, pronounce things correctly, and you see how even small mistakes in communication can change the meaning completely.
Yeah, especially in another language.
Oh, yeah.
Where tiny pronunciation differences can totally change what you're saying.
Exactly. And those kinds of real-world experiences, those are the ones that stick with you.
Definitely.
So games can give you that safe and fun way to practice these listening skills without the fear of, messing up in real life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hmm.
Okay, so you've got me convinced about reading and listening. Now, what about speaking?
All right, so for speaking, there's a game called speed talking.
Okay, speed talking.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. You get a topic and a limited amount of time to talk about it.
Okay.
It's a great way to practice thinking on your feet and speaking fluently.
That sounds pretty challenging.
It can be, but it's all about pushing yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a low-stakes environment, so it's okay to make mistakes. It's kind of like a warm-up for real conversations.
Like a public speaking boot camp, but way less intense.
Exactly. You're building those core speaking skills in a fun way.
I like it. Okay, what about writing?
Okay, so for writing, there's the picture prompt challenge. You get an interesting image, and then you have to write a story based on it.
That sounds like a great way to boost your creativity.
Yeah.
But how does that actually improve your writing skills?
Well, good writing is about more than just grammar and vocabulary, you
Yeah.
know? It's about communicating your thoughts and ideas in a compelling way and engaging your audience. In this game, it encourages you to think outside the box and work on your storytelling abilities.
So it's helping you develop those core storytelling muscles that make for good writing.
Right.
I see how that could be useful. All right, I'm on board with the reading, listening, speaking, and writing games. But what about vocabulary?
Oh, there are tons of great games for vocabulary. One classic is word association.
Oh, yeah.
You say a word, and the other players have to quickly think of a related word.
I remember playing that as a kid.
It's amazing how quickly your brain starts making those connections between words.
It really is.
It's not about memorizing lists, it's about understanding how those words relate to each other.
Right.
And because it's fast-paced, it helps you access those words more quickly, too.
It's like a workout for your vocabulary.
Exactly. And the more you play, the stronger those connections get, and the easier it becomes to remember and use those words in real conversations.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the benefits of using games for language learning.
Mm.
They seem like a great way to get people engaged and make learning fun, which can lead to better results overall.
Yeah, definitely.
But I am curious, how do these games actually work in practice?
Well, that's one of the best things about them is that they can be adapted to different learning environments,
Okay.
like a classroom, an online platform, or even just self-study.
So let's talk about the classroom setting first.
Okay.
I imagine games could be a good way to break up the monotony of lectures and textbooks.
Oh, for sure. Classroom teachers love these games.
Yeah.
They can be used as icebreakers to get everybody energized at the beginning of class,
Oh, yeah.
or as energizers to keep students focused during a long lesson,
Right.
or even as review games to reinforce what's been learned.
That makes sense, especially for younger learners
Right.
who have, those shorter attention spans.
And it's not just about keeping them entertained either.
Right.
Games can also help create a more collaborative learning environment where students are working together and learning from each other.
Yeah, that's important. What about online learning environments?
Oh, yeah, they work great online too.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many creative ways to use games online. Like, you could use virtual flashcards,
Okay.
or have live role-playing sessions through video calls, or even use tools like Google Docs for collaborative writing activities.
So many options.
Really, the possibilities are endless.
That's amazing. So
Great.
it really seems like there's a game out there for every learning style and teaching environment. But I'm curious, are there other benefits beyond just the fun factor and the adaptability?
Oh, definitely. One of the coolest things about games is that they create a safe space to make mistakes, which is essential for learning.
You're right.
When you're playing a game, the pressure is off and you're more likely to experiment and learn from those mistakes.
I've definitely learned the most when I wasn't taking things too seriously.
Exactly. And when you're having fun, you're also more likely to stick with it.
That's true.
Living a language can be tough, but games can make it feel more like an adventure.
I love that. And I bet our listeners can relate to that.
Yeah.
Think about a time when you learned something new through play.
Right.
Didn't it make the process more enjoyable and ultimately more successful?
I think that's a key takeaway. It's about shifting our mindset from seeing learning as a chore to seeing it as an opportunity for exploration and even fun.
And games can be the perfect tool for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really is. And, it's not even just about language learning, is it?
Right.
What if we applied this idea of game-based learning to other areas of our lives, too?
Right.
Like, imagine how much more fun it would be to learn new skills or explore hobbies or even tackle work projects if we could approach them with a more playful mindset.
I mean, imagine turning those Monday morning meetings into a game.
Oh, my gosh.
People would actually want to be there.
Right. And they'd probably be more productive, too.
Totally. There's so much potential there, to change the way we approach learning and problem solving in all aspects of our lives.
It makes me wonder if this game-based learning approach could actually revolutionize the way we think about education as a whole.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Could it make learning more engaging and effective for students of all ages?
I think it's definitely worth exploring further.
Yeah.
If we can tap into that natural human desire for play and apply it to education, I think we could unlock a whole new level of learning.
So for our listener who's maybe thinking about all this for the first time, what's the one key takeaway they should walk away with today?
I would say it's this. Never underestimate the power of play.
Yeah.
Whether you're trying to learn a new language or a new skill or just, add a bit of joy to your day, incorporating elements of play can make a world of difference.
And it's not just about the outcome. It's about enjoying the process, too.
Absolutely.
Embrace the journey. Have fun with it. And don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way, because that's how we learn and grow.
I love that it's about finding that sweet spot where learning stops feeling like work and starts feeling like play. And when that happens, the possibilities are limitless.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you, the listener.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite games for learning English? Or any language, for that matter?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, share your thoughts with us on social media. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and maybe we'll even feature some of your suggestions in a future episode.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So if you're feeling inspired and you want to create your own language learning game, go for it.
Yes, the more creative, the better.
Let your imagination run wild and see what you can come up with.
There are no rules when it comes to play.
Right.
So on that note, we're going to sign off for today.
Okay.
But before we do, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder.
Right.
What if we applied this game-based learning approach to even more areas of our lives?
Like what?
Well, could it transform the workplace into a more engaging and productive environment?
Yeah, for sure. Or what about education?
Exactly. Could it revolutionize the way we approach education?
I think the possibilities are truly endless.
So go out there, embrace the power of play, and see how it can transform your world.
Yeah. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of learning and discovery.
Until then, keep playing and keep learning.
Yes, happy learning, everyone.
And happy gaming.
All right, see you next time.
You know, it's really inspiring to think about all the possibilities, but let's get practical for a moment.
Yeah, good idea.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have.
but I want to make sure that our listener walks away with something concrete they can actually use.
Absolutely. Let's give them some actionable takeaways.
Perfect. So, listener, if you're ready to inject some more playfulness into your language learning journey, here are a few things you can do right now.
Okay, so first things first, don't overthink it. Start with what you already enjoy.
Right.
If you love board games, see if there's a version in English or one that focuses on vocabulary.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And don't forget about music.
Oh yeah, music is great.
Listening to English songs or even just trying to sing along can be a fun way to improve your pronunciation and pick up new words.
Absolutely. And my second tip would be find your people.
Okay.
Connect with other language learners, whether that's online or in person. Having a community can make the whole experience more fun and keep you motivated.
It's so much easier to stay on track when you've got people to support you and share the journey with.
Definitely.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to experiment, take risks, and, even laugh at yourself along the way.
Yeah, embrace those mistakes. That's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. And lastly, remember that learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint.
It is.
Enjoy the process, celebrate your progress, and never stop exploring.
I love that. Those are great takeaways. And you know what? These principles, they apply to anything you want to learn or improve, not just languages.
You're so right. So go out there, find your passion, and make learning an adventure.
Absolutely. And as always, we'd love to hear from you. Share your favorite learning games with us or any aha moments you've had along the way. You can connect with us on social media.
Yeah, we love hearing from our listeners. Until next time, keep playing, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.